Well, hello there, Retro PC Durham. It's Chris here with another video. We've got a tower, yay, tower machine we put together here. This is a, this is not original. The original guts from this HP Microsoft Windows XP Media Center Edition 2005 PC, this HP Pavilion a1268c, they're long gone. They were just dead, melted, toasted, tons of burn caps, and no longer usable. So I had this case empty for a little bit, and then I received a donation from someone with a similar machine. So I thought I would swap the guts in, and the case that the other donation came in was in really bad shape, so it's kind of, you know, make it work. That's what we do here on the channel. Take a look at the front of the machine here. I don't have any optical drives in here, but it does have these nice little covers here, so you can look into the empty front end of the case. We don't really need those anymore, so that's not a big issue. We've got a multi-array on the front here for SD cards, compact flash, etc. A couple of USB 2.0 ports, and then we've got some audio ports as well, and then a FireWire port, which no one really uses anymore. Power button and hard drive indicator. And then if we switch around to the back of this case, we'll see what we've got for back stuff. So power supply, our system board, which we've got some old style connectors to, and then we've got another FireWire port, we've got our USB ports, we've got our Ethernet port, we've got our audio ports, and then we've got graphics installed in the bottom here. Yes, discrete graphics. Thank goodness. We've got to have discrete graphics to be able to minimize on the amount of memory that is being used, or maximize the amount of memory that is available for these machines. Nice thumb screw captive to be able to remove on this one. We'll take a look at what we've got as far as guts inside the machine goes. So we've got this, I'm not even sure, is it no name brand? It was out of another Compaq or HP machine, but I don't even think it has any indicators on here as to what the model number on it. It's a Bengal. That was the code name, a Bengal. So whatever that happened to belong to. But it did happen to have most of the connectors to plug in the front panel stuff. The only one that was missing was one of these extra audio connectors here, which is for the line in on the front. So it does have the regular audio connector, but it didn't have an extra line in connector here for that one port on the front. But it had everything else here. I believe it's got a same thing. We've got an AMD processor on here. We had 2 memory slots available for memory on this system, so I believe I've got 2 gig of RAM, which was the maximum supported, or maybe 3 gig. We'll see when we get it booted up. It was one of the two. Not 4 gig, I know that for sure. And then we've got a video card here. There was a PCIe slot on this one, so we're able to put a graphics card in here so that this memory is devoted 100% to Windows. And all good caps on this one. As I mentioned, the previous board that was in here did not have all good caps, and when you've got the 3 or 4 bad caps that were on the power array here, and there was one over on here by the VRMs, you know, when you see one of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, you're going to end up having to replace every cap on the board. It's not worth it on these machines. These are not vintage collector's item machines where it's worth doing it. I'm trying to give these things another like 2 years of life before they go to the scrapyard and get melted down. So that, you know, that's the goal here. Anyways, everything else is up and running here. Try to do a tiny bit of cable management. It's not really much going on there. And I picked an orange SATA cable to try and match with the orange fan on the GPU. Can't really see that. And you know, close to the yellow around the processor. Whatever. I don't know what I was trying to do there. Let's get this thing closed back up again. And I'm going to get this actually hooked up with the other parts that I'm going to use with this donation. Because what I'm doing with these desktop donations now is I try to put together a full kit for that to go out the door, so that wherever this is going to go, they don't need to worry about finding anything else to get up and running other than, obviously, you know, connecting up to the internet, whatever, they're kind of on their own for that, and then like their own speakers or their own headset or whatever. And if they do need to do like live streaming or I don't know, Zoom meetings or whatever, I don't include a camera, but I include a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse and some cables. So we're going to get those plugged in now and get it powered up. Okay, we're all set up here now. We've got our LG Flattron L1750SQ ready to go. We're going to hit the power button here. This monitor is a good example of the type of monitors I usually get from donations. 4:3 aspect ratio, 1280 by 1024 screen resolution. Don't really, these are the types of these are the types of monitors that you would find for 12 to 15 Canadian dollars at the local like Salvation Army or Value Village or whatever. So, nothing to write home about. This one's seen some good years. It's well used. And I can tell it's got a little bit of like a warm-up issue. It's a little bit grainy when it's first getting going as it warms up, and then it's okay afterwards. But the screen works. It does what it needs to do. It's clear. There's no broken physical areas of it, no cracks on the screen, no burnt pixels or hot spots that I could tell. So it does what it needs to do. Let's take a look at our specs on this guy. So as noted, this isn't the original system board that's in here. I'm pretty sure it came out of another HP or compact system. However, it is not going to be labeled as such. Yeah, so it's here labeled as an Acer RS740 DVF, which I'm assuming, if I remember correctly, this must have come out of a machine maybe that Acer was selling boards to HP or Compaq at some point in time, perhaps. I mean, I could be wrong. When I get the donations, and I usually tear the whole thing down to clean it all up, and sometimes I, get mixed up which board came out of which case, and things don't go back together exactly the way they were when they started. So, processor-wise, we've got an AMD Athlon 4050E. That's a dual core. 2-core, 2-thread machine at 2.1 gigahertz. It looks like it's running at about, so pretty decent for running Windows. This system's pretty snappy. 250 gig SATA hard drive. We only have 2 gig of RAM installed because I don't actually have any 2 gig DDR2 memory right now to go into a machine, so we had to stick with 2 1 gig DIMMs to get this thing up and running, but it does work. There's a 32-bit Windows install, if I remember correctly, that I installed on this one. And then we have a GeForce GT610 graphics adapter, not a gaming card. I mean, I would never recommend using something like a GT anything for gaming, really. But this is the previous version before the GT710, the much hated GT710, the most sold video card on Amazon. The 610 is a 2 gig video card. It's DDR3 SD RAM though, so it's pretty slow memory. But this thing is made for driving up to 3 screens for business productivity, not for gaming, which is fine. And in this case, we're just using it for very basic computing requirements. So the next step I'm going to do here is just get the internet connected up here. So I got to connect an Ethernet cable, and we will go and do our crab rave test. All right, our network is connected. I'm going to open up the new Microsoft Edge. Nice of Microsoft to do this Chromium version of Edge. Makes it easier for me to not have to download Chrome anymore on these machines because they've got a working browser now. And we are going to click on, because I've already been to this page before, on my testing to load up the video. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a delay, right, as sites load. And that's a combination of the amount of memory that's available as well as the processor itself having a little bit of a challenge getting things done. But it's just a matter of being patient. I will now pause this and make sure that we've got our resolutions the way we want them to be. And I'm thinking, because at full screen on this resolution, we're going to be capped out at 720p, right, on terms of how this goes. So I'm going to choose 720p manual. I'm going to give it a second here to finish buffering, and we're just going to take a look and see how things run. And so far, so good. I mean, we're dropping like 1 out of every 100 frames, 2 out of every 100 frames. Looks pretty decent. I would say that this is a machine that's going to be able to handle, general productivity requirements, a Zoom meeting with, low res, maybe not having like 8 people on at a time, pretty decently. And I think I'm happy with that. So that's a look at our once was an HP Pavilion a1268c and is now mostly an HP and mostly an Acer. An Acer PC in disguise. Hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to insert them in the appropriate location below the video here. As always, thanks very much for watching. Taking your time to spend with me is important to me, and I'm happy that you are willing to give it to me. Hope you're staying safe and healthy, and we'll catch you in the next one.